Yo, what's up, guys? So this one is called Why I'm Gonna Tone It Down a Bit. And that's not what it sounds like at all. Um, but I did have a conversation with, and this is just me rambling. Nothing in here is gonna help you. This is me rambling. Watch if you want to. Don't if you don't want to. Anyway, but so I had a. And by the way, I have COVID right now. I feel like absolute trash. If I seem like I feel like good at all, that's not true. I should be sitting down, but I can't. I gotta be doing something. So anyway, so I had this conversation with a buddy of mine, and I could consider him a brother, and he recommended that I tone it down a bit. And the reason why is because he's like, I took a look at one of your scripts, and I'm not gonna say your name, bro, if you happen to see this, but I consider him a brother, and I know he was coming to me from a genuine place, trying to be a brother, you know, and said, like, he's a manager, and said, I think you should tone it down because you can write, bro, and I get you, but a lot of people don't. And there's people that are saying they won't work with you because you seem difficult. And on the one hand, you're trying to help people, but on the other hand, and a lot of those people won't fucking take it. And the people that you're going after aren't gonna fucking change, so you don't get anything out of it. You know what I mean? And I'm like, okay. What I said was to him, I said, you're probably right. I probably should tone it down a bit. But I woke up the next day and thought about it. I'm like, no. Because I don't like seeing people get fucked over. That's just... and that I have a lot to say in this video. This is just a sidebar video away from other shit, but it just what I took away from that is, and you know, because you said there's some people that essentially like are blackballing you, you know, and to me it's like, if they don't understand where I'm coming from, then we aren't a good match to work together anyway. Like, what I put on the page will offend them. And I know that because a lot of shit I write in screenplays is controversial. And a lot of shit I write is very risky. And it takes someone, I'm just gonna say it takes someone with balls to attach to my shit. It does, a lot of it. That's just what it is, you know? And like Democracy 2.0, that's one of my concepts. You think that's not going to get controversial, talking about super political shit? Fuck yeah, it's controversial. And I got people behind me on that, like IP consultants, this kind of shit. It's not just my concepts. Anyway, but this really goes back to, and I know shit I say in this video is going to be considered controversial and fuck him and this kind of stuff, but I'm just, you know, what I realized is, my main thing I realized is I don't want to say shit. I'm grumpy. That's what it is. I'm fucking grumpy. I'm old, you know. I don't have stars in my eyes anymore, like this kind of shit. You know, we have a group that gets together and talks about industry shit, and you know, the moderator has to remind us sometimes, like, hey guys, I'm not gonna say any of our names, has to remind us, hey guys, like, can we, like, there's some brand new people in here, they're gonna be like, what do you want me to jump off a fucking bridge? And we're like, oh yeah, I forgot, we're being a little too fucking old and grumpy, you know what I mean? But I don't want to be someone that's trying to talk someone out of their dream. That's not my fucking goal here with my channel. And my goal is also not to sort of attempt to take on the role of protector. Like, I understand I have no right to fucking do that. That's not it either. But I just realized I probably should say some nicer shit about the industry, just for balance, just for levity, because obviously me and Sherry, we would have never gone through the industry the way we did if it was 100% bullshit. So there's some good shit that happens too. So, you know, I feel like I need to say some shit that's like, because me personally, when I can handle it, tough love, all this kind of shit, but I still have those good moments in my mind. But if I don't say it, then it seems like everything in the industry was terrible for me, which it wasn't. You know what I mean? And at this point, I know some people think of me, and some people don't give a fuck about me. That's fine too, so you don't have to watch this channel. You're free to click right the fuck out of here. I didn't ask you to watch this. I'm just explaining my point of view. So I've seen a lot of people get fucked over for, and I come hard at that shit, because it's like, I've seen people get fucked over for house money. And what do I mean by that? I mean house money. I mean money that could have bought you a house. Fucking cash. And they were just sparkles in their eyes, and they just weren't paying attention, and just walked into the fucking flames and got burned. And some of them are like, why did no one fucking tell me, man? Why did no one fucking tell me that I'm walking into the fucking flames? I'd be less offended if I would have, you know, I left $800,000 on the table because you didn't want to offend me. What the fuck? Just tell me, dude. You know? So some people can handle that, and some people like that. My channel's not for everybody, but way back in the very beginning, and remind me if I forget these couple of points. I want to make the points that not all managers are pieces of shit. I feel like maybe I come across that way, but I want to point out that that's not the case. And something else too. I forget what else. I guess meeting people in the industry. Like, I'm gonna call it like starstruck. I'm gonna explain why I think that's not the worst thing in the world when you're new to everything. You know, that's kind of, I'll explain. Nowadays I don't get starstruck, but I'll explain. Anyway, so managers, there's some fucking, and let me say this first of all, like, when me and Chad, I know this is gonna piss some people off. How dare you speak about Cherry? Like, listen, I'm not gonna just pretend like half of my life didn't exist. It did, okay? So, but when me and Sherry came into the industry, that was a pact we made together that we're not gonna fuck anybody over. We're not gonna step on heads. We're not gonna try to get ahead in unscrupulous ways. And that's just what it is. That's who we are as people. And we agree on that 50%. That's just what we're gonna do. And we never did. And at the same time, we knew possibly that could hurt us in some ways, but who cares? You know, we didn't want to have skeletons in the closet and this kind of shit. But I want to give credit where credit is due. She never put herself before the clients, never. Okay, and if it happens to be any client watching this, she never did. Behind closed doors, secret shit, never did. Never put herself before the client. And I know people said, and sidebar here, I know some people say, I loved her, she's amazing, this kind of shit, so nice, so sweet, all this kind of shit. But think about it for half a second, and then you can tell me to go fuck off again. But she wouldn't have spent 20 years with me. And they say, she was amazing, Jason's a pile of shit. I'm not trying to defend myself. I'm saying look at, you know, circumstantial evidence. Why would someone be with someone for 20 fucking years if they were a pile of shit? If she hated me, that's not what the fuck happened. You know what I mean? And really, it's kind of a put down on her to say, you chose a piece of shit that you stuck with for 20 fucking years, and and then lived with for 3 years after you guys ended things. When I tell my stories of like our parties and all that kind of shit, that's after we split up. We were both dating other people at that point. This is a grown-up conversation. If you can't handle it, then click the fuck out of it. But we were already dating other people, and we had the time of our lives. And we were saying to each other, this is the best we've ever gotten along. And then after we split up, we worked together for 6 years after that. You know, she was repping me. I was having her on my shit as producer when I didn't need to have her on as producer. And we had that agreement. Let me talk business real quick. We had that agreement. I knew, she knew that if someone bigger comes along, like a big producer, I'll jump off. I get it. You know, we didn't even have to discuss that because we both knew. And that did happen. And she did jump off on certain things, but other shit we still kept between us. So, you know, no one's going to spend 26 years with someone who they think is a pile of shit. And let me slip this in. Controversial, right? All my shit's controversial. I don't know if I'm gonna do that video. I don't know about my ex, but I'll say this in the meantime. Sherry. At the end of everything, she was living with my family. That's something that almost nobody knows. She was living with my family. If she hated me, she wouldn't have been living with my family. I'll just say that for now. If she hated me, she wouldn't have still been in contact with me. Anyway, moving past that, managers. There's some good managers out there, man. You know, I don't want to, if I have painted that in that light by my channel, that wasn't my intent. My intent wasn't to say that all managers are bad. My intent was to say that you gotta fucking watch your ass no matter who the fuck you're dealing with. But there are some good managers. There are some good managers that fucking, you know, deserve to be shouted out, you know, for the shit they've sacrificed to try to help writers and creatives advance, you know, and they have tried to protect writers and make sure they don't get fucked. And there's some good ones out there, absolutely. There's some good agents out there. There's some fucking, you know, fantastic. Let me not say good, fucking fantastic. The only thing I would say there is, me personally, I would prefer someone who's coming from the agency world first. And we had this conversation, several of us, about how there's, and a few of them are managers, and they brought it up, you know, and I agreed, and I said, yeah, that's been on my mind. Like, that's been something I've been thinking about. And they said, at a certain point, there's going to need, I'm not going to go too into it if they happen to see this. I'm not going to tell anything controversial. I mean, confidential. But they're like, there's a lot of managers coming on the scene now. And at a certain point, there's going to need to be regulations, you know, because it's getting a bit ridiculous that anybody can just say they're a manager and they don't have any experience. And that's scary for people. And it should be scary for people. And the thing there, the type of shit I try to point out is, like, as a writer, you should not feel any type of way. You should not feel like you're overstepping if you're asking a manager who wants to sign you questions. You know what I mean? Like, you should have questions. And any manager who's like, you know, gives you pushback on questions, me personally, I don't trust you. There should be no question I can't ask you. You can say, I'll leave it there. You know, for example, if you come to a manager and you say, will this sell? You know, the answer is, I don't know. You know, I hope it does. But you come to a manager and you say, what is your plan for me? What is your strategy for me? They should be able to answer that question. It shouldn't be like, don't worry about it. We'll get to that. No. I need to know up front before I fucking sign with you. What else? But as a writer too, you can't be coming to a manager saying, I need you to sign an NDA. Like this kind of nonsense. You got to know the basics of what they do. You know what I mean? Anyway, there's that thought on that. There are good managers out there. So, and I would say a lot of them come from the agency side. And did I call it or what? I said, in one of my last video, I said agencies are shutting down. I said agents are shutting down, but I meant agencies. Now, what is it? A3 is gone. Like, I've been through that shit. Where Resolution, dude. I knew it was fucking dead a year before it died. Me and Sherry had that conversation. You know, as teammates, as spouses. You know, what do you think I should do? I said, I think this shit's crashing and burning, dude. You know, you gotta be fucking careful out there. But at the same time, have fun. You know, that's the other thing. Let me end this with this part. Like, I get it. I'm old. I'm fucking grumpy. I'm whatever you want to call it. I'm like the fucking Al Bundy or the whatever. Like, I've already seen enough. You know, I don't need to. Let me put it this way. I've turned down going to fucking like the Oscars and shit like that. Hey, you want to go, man? I'm like, no, I'm good. Take someone else. Take someone who gives a fuck. You know, and they're like, what are you doing on that night? I'm like, I don't know. Like, I got plans, but it's not anything big. You know, some people literally think that I'm grumpy because I want to be back in the complete mix. That's not what it is. I'm grumpy because I just seen so much, dude, and you know, I'm tired. You know, that's really what it is. But what I wanted to say there is, like, this video would probably be way better if I wasn't fucking sick. Oh well. But what I wanted to say there is, if you're new to the industry and you're younger and this kind of shit, or even if you're older and like behind closed doors, I don't think you should be embarrassed if you want to be a little starstruck. And I think you should be, man, because like, what's the fucking point if you're never starstruck, you know, through this shit? I don't get starstruck like that. I'm sorry. I've been through too much shit to get starstruck at this point. But in the beginning, I did. You know, in the beginning, like, you know, thinking about like, you know, when you're the plus one or something, you go to some big producer's house and you pull up and there's valet and you're like, I didn't even know they had valet at parties. What? You know, and there's a fucking big long line of cars or whatever, or, you know, nice cars, and you walk in and you're like, one day, man, you're just like some dumb little kid, like, one day, man, I want shit like this. I don't know how to get there, but you know, one day I hope I get that shit. I think you know, I think you should have that excitement, even if you're older or whatever. And because those are gonna be, and a lot of us who've been through shit are fucking grumpy as fuck, and they'll be mad about me telling these stories right now. They'll think I'm name dropping in this kind of shit, or they'll think, I know, dude, I don't give a fuck about any of that shit. But really, if you know, it's just stories that, you know, and a lot of us have a fucking lot of cool stories. Like you're gonna meet a lot of really, like that's one of the good things is you will meet some cool people. And I think the coolest part about the industry is meeting someone who you weren't expecting to be like a really cool human being, and then you click with them, and then you know, you form a relationship, and you know, you're just kind of surprised by that. And it's not even about like the celebrity shit or whatever, you know, like it's just about them as a fucking human being. And you're like, I relate to you, like just creative to creative or whatever, you know what I mean? And but you know, also I'm really trying not to drop names because who gives a fuck really, but just, you know, going to like heads of agencies, homes and shit, and just being like, I wonder what it's like, you know, just out of curiosity. I wonder what the fuck they party like, you know, going to that shit. Okay, there's like 20 people here, this kind of shit. I didn't say who it was. Then you fucking know. You know, it's like, okay, interesting. Or what else? Or just shit you get to do that's you know, really it's kind of a lucky thing, you know. And you know, I came through the industry, me and my ex came through the industry back when it was like early 90s, dude. It was just the 80s before that, so shit was crazy as fuck at that point. And so we got to see a lot of the fucking Wild West shit, you know. And maybe now it'll seem like the Wild West in 20 years, I don't fucking know. But you know, like, you know, I remember the days where, and some people remember the days where agents had expense accounts, dude. Excuse me? Like, and they would just blow money, dude. That's, when I say shit like that, it was raining money from the sky, those days are dead. That's part of what I'm talking about. Where agents, back in those days, you're an agent, you're just like, I don't give a fuck. I'll spend whatever I want to. And then the agency is like, can you guys tone it down, sort of? And you're like, no. You know what I mean? Like, so though, you know, those were fun times. And then they finally said, like, listen, like really, can you like, really, can you tone it down? And then agents were like, maybe a little bit, you know, but I'm a big shot, so not really. And then they came down and said, no, listen, like, that shit's done. And people were like, no shit? I gotta get my card back? What the fuck? Like, we used to go to Hawaii every year for fucking free. That's my point. Shit like this, dude. And it was cool, man, because they would let you keep the points. You know, so we used to go to Hawaii, you know, the pink one, you know, it was fucking $8,000, you know, for a week and a half, something like that. 8, 10, 11 grand, something like this. And free, dude. That's what I mean by the good old days. Anyway, so what was I gonna say? I want to say something else. I know this video's going long. Fuck it. You can turn it off. But what the fuck else was I gonna say? I don't know. I lost my train of thought. Fuck. Just whatever. You want to experience the fun shit too, and you know, I don't want to present it as that's some other shit. Like we used to go to like Lakers for fucking free, dude, all the time. No one is in the box. I'm like, I'll fucking go. You know what I mean? Like box seats, dude, all the fucking time. Lakers. That's how I became a fan of, you know, like the Clippers, you know, because no one will fucking be it. No one will use it. The Dugout Club in that's what I was gonna say. I'll end it at 25 minutes. The Dugout Club at Dodger Stadium. I used to always use those fucking tickets because no one would, and we used to get comped. Back then, you used to get comped for shit. You want to go see a concert? Oh, you want fucking awesome seats? Let me make a call Do we have those available? Boom. You always used to get so much shit. You know, that's what I mean by the good old days. So take advantage. Like, hey man, you write shit or whatever. You're in the industry. You're working your ass off, dude. Take advantage of all of that. You know what I'm saying? That's what the fuck I'm saying too. Take advantage of all of that. The swag, cool. You know, even if you don't need it, take it. Give it to your friends. Give it to your family. You know, it's a fucking hard industry. So I'm not saying like. I'm not saying anything against that. And some people, I'll end it right there. The last thing I'm gonna say is what is that's it. Just you know, I get it. It's a fucking tough industry. Enjoy the journey, and you know, just come out of this thing at the end. You know what I mean? Because this is probably not going to last forever. Probably not. And who cares? You know, you get a fucking ride of your lifetime. I'll tell you that much. Okay, so I don't want to talk anybody out of that, out of a ride of a lifetime, man. The shit I've seen is insane. So I hope that fucking happens to you. Good luck. Later. Enjoy it all. Peace.